Just going to close the gap up.
I've got the pickups. That's in the backwards hiccups.
And then
I have to do book
and then on top of that, we've got like an internal angle. It's 50 by 50 mil. That should cover up any imperfections.
Ba-bi-la-li-ba-bi-la-la.
Just don't touch what Dad's doing, please.
Hi guys, welcome back to the off-grid shack, the Azzlana off-grid shack. What I'm doing here today is we've been living in the bus full time now for about 2 months, and what we found is yeah, the gas heater is good and we don't need to run it for long, but it creates a whole bunch of extra condensation that we don't need, and the solar battery bank for the bus isn't powerful enough to run a 240 volt dehumidifier 24/7. So we've opted to change our heating preference. We assume that having a wood heater is going to create the dry ambient heat you get from the wood heater. It's going to dry out all the air and stop the condensation issue that we're currently having. So with 4 people breathing in 200 square feet of living space, and surrounded by glass, it condensates real bad quite quick. So we've picked up a wood heater cheap for the bus, second-hand one. It's actually a really good wood heater. It's like a it's a wood oven, so it's got the oven down below and the wood box on top, but it also has a wet back. A stainless steel water tank you can hook onto it as well, so you can plumb hot water through it. So I reckon for an off-grid lifestyle on the bus, it's going to be just what we need. So what I'm working on here, we've come to the shack so I can do a few little projects. It's really hard to work at a campground or a caravan park. People don't like you using power tools and whatnot. So we've come here to do a few projects. The first one is making the hearth for the wood heater to sit on. Now I've decided to use galvanise over timber. In the shack there I built like a timber frame and then cement sheet over that, and I was going to tile it eventually, but as time progressed, the concern of the wood in the frame of wood heat up and dry out and heat up to a degree where it might ignite. So that's a little bit of concern. So this time around I've decided just to make it out of some scrap material laying around the place. And I think it's important to mention as well, like when you live in this lifestyle, a bus lifestyle, and you're living, off the grid, you're living for free. So there has to be like, what's the word? You got to give and take. So if I want to take if I want to take an opportunity to live free, the sacrifice is I don't have the extra money that I used to be able to buy these new things. So what I've done is I've just gone around the shack, the boneyard at the back of the shack there, and just sort of picked through some material that I can use to make a hearth and the sidewalls out of Hearth or whatever it's called. And I found these galvanised battens, so and I thought up this design, so I'm going to use this. So I've measured, we wanted our hearth to be 1 metre long, and the actual side wall of the bus is only one section on the side of the floor of the bus is 790mm wide, so I've just made it to that width. So what I've got here is around the outside is just what we call 140 track. It's like a galvanised track. It's you know, an inch or 30mm wide. And these channels here are just like a galvanised ceiling batten on the inside of the house. So this is what I've made. Good thing I like about this is the galvanised battens take on like a C shape, so the underneath is going to have these flutes. The thing will sit on the floor like that, and having the flutes underneath, it's going to act as like a vent, a heat vent for any heat that does build up in the floor of the hearth. It's going to vent out through the flutes. Galvanised, won't rust. She's pretty sturdy, and then on top of that I'm just going to put a layer of cement sheet on top and a layer of cement sheet underneath as well, and maybe finish off the edges with some trim later on, but that's going to finalise the hearth, and I'll tile that as well, just to make it look pretty. What's Miss Azzlana Jane doing?
Sorry? This is hard work.
You working hard or hardly working?
Always working hard, babe. You know me?
So all that bark is the result of these gum trees shedding over
Result of autumn,
2 years.
which is now winter.
So we're going to rake all that up into a little bonfire pile and set a match to it one day.
We've got one
It
big,
looks so much
massive
better
weed
around the
like
off-grid
right there.
shack.
Can't seem to get out. But this job seems like it's going to be never ending because we're surrounded by gum trees.
Alright, I'll leave you to it. So what we're doing is take you over to the boneyard where I've got all the scrap building material and stuff. Like, you have to sacrifice, living this lifestyle, you have to sacrifice having the money to go out and buy the new stuff to make these things. So gone and had a look around at the boneyard, and found a whole bunch of metal there. Well, that's just been sitting there like that for about 2 years now. It's a little bit grimy and few calcification spots, but that's nothing. It'll clean up well. Right, so there's all the pieces I need, as well as doing like the hearth, the floor of the hearth. I'm going to do a back wall and the side wall along here. So when the kids are coming up the stairs from the bus, they don't fall onto the wood heater while it's going. So I just put a little bit of a nib wall here to protect that. And back wall. And this one's going to just be left. There's going to be an existing wall here that we'll leave. All the pieces are measured and cut. The back wall. It's just like a jigsaw puzzle. You need to put it all together again, like a Meccano set. That is, but I think I might just use it. Well, that's a 90. It's a 90 by 35 stud. I'll use that width there as a spacer. Should be good enough. These 140 tracks are designed to slide over these battens nicely. Just gets a nice square edge, a nice little finished edge. So there's the back wall, set up like that.
How's that going?
Yeah, good buddy. Just making the hearth for our wood heater when we get it for the bus.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Now you should really use villa board cutters for this, which I don't have, but what I do have is a dirty old blade on my circular saw, so I'm just going to run that through and just score it. It's going to be dusty, so I'll have to do it somewhere away from here. I buggered the blade up on this, cutting some aluminium angles, so it doesn't even, you can see all the teeth are shot. I wouldn't use it if it was a good blade on the saw, but might as well use what I can. Good to wear a dust mask because cement dust is class 5 toxic hazard, carcinogenic, and will probably give you cancer. But what doesn't these days? Right, so this villa board or cement sheet is going to be the mating surface for the tile adhesive and the tile.